Welcome back to the LCS Countdown, where Game 1 is about 11 minutes away. With some moderate success, we've decided to welcome back our new robotic friend for this week's iteration of Jat's Stats. Wasn't the most pleasant of games last time around. I did. And that is an improvement from last year.
Hello, Dash. Hi, Mark, and Kobe. I am the Judgmental Automated Telemetry Testing Unit. I have returned for another iteration of the wildly successful Jot Stats.
All right, well, welcome back.
Yeah,
wildly successful.
I like them.
Hit us with question 1.
I have elected to start with a multiple choice question for question 1. Let's hope that is enough. Yesterday Sven set the LCS all-time record for individual GD at 15 against CLG. Who was the previous holder of the record?
This is unfair.
Your options are
choice.
Wild Turtle, Xiao Wei Xiao, Huni, Deftly.
Man.
Huni has destroyed some people.
You thought it was gonna be Bjergsen, right?
Yeah.
But that stat was fake. That was a broken game, actually. It was a chrono broken game that screwed with the stats.
So I'm
it's either Huni or Turtle for me. I think I'm gonna go Huni.
Really tough.
But why would Deftly be on the list if?
I like the Xiao Wei Xiao call. I like the Xiao Wei Xiao call.
I think Deftly's a bait. I want to go Xiao Wei Xiao.
He had the crazy Kaisa game last year, didn't he?
Yeah, and he had a couple Heimer games, or maybe he got
he had the fun.
Let's all take one. Let's all take one.
I'm taking Huni.
I'll take Deftly.
I got Xiao Wei Xiao.
What? So I get Turtle?
You got Turtle.
All right, I guess I take
Turtle's
Turtle.
good.
All right.
The correct answer is Xiao Wei Xiao.
I knew it! Why did I jump on this?
I made James get it wrong.
You can't listen to them.
Rude. I knew.
They destroyed some games in LCS.
Yeah,
I have experienced
They had some of the most
firsthand.
lopsided games you could ever imagine in LCS.
Firsthand, I have Gambino.
Pride is permitted, but not encouraged. Prepare yourselves, question 2 is coming now. Yesterday, Wild Turtle was able to secure a Baron with a Yasuo auto attack. What jungler has the most Barons stolen against them so far this split?
Lyra!
or Rush.
I was gonna say
Rush.
Rush too obvious. I'm gonna stay with Lyra.
He's also lost dragons too. So
Actually,
that's why I might.
I feel like there are more dragons stolen from Rush. I think he's only had 1 or 2 Barons stolen, and Lyra's had a couple Barons. I'm gonna go with Rush though, because I just feel like there's a reason we were more memeing about Rush's inability to smite. And he was even memeing himself.
That one's too obvious. Rush is too obvious, right?
Was Lyra? Am I thinking of a split before?
Lyra has struggled with
last split. He had a lot stolen.
Yeah.
But I don't know about this.
Yeah,
split.
not this split. They haven't gotten to do many Barons.
But Rush is also the obvious, right? Like, that's the one that jumps into our head first, and as we know, typical Jat Stats situation.
Who
Wrong.
else is
How
even
terrible and expected. The correct answer is Acadian at 2 Baron steals.
Only 2.
He's had 2 stolen away?
He came into my head. I was
Two's not even that many.
I kept doing Baron.
At least probably like 8
How many?
people at
So
once.
Rush has only had 1 then. And then like multiple dragons stolen or something from him.
Yeah, that was a weak stat.
That was a weak stat. Give us something
You can get better
Something
robot.
juicier.
Question 3, come on.
I have decided it's time for question 3.
Oh, you decided.
Coming into the split, Sneaky was the player that had the highest LCS stock value. What player currently has the highest LCS stock value? Deliberate now.
All right, so it is.
So here's, before we deliberate this question, I'm going to clarify something to people. So as you know, the LCS stock system, the teams have ELOs or stock prices, but that is determined by every individual player on that team having an ELO that is, essentially aggregated. So if you are subbed out in a game and your team loses or wins, your ELO will not change, and that is why individuals can have differing ELOs on different teams.
The highest rated teams are the top 2 teams, TL and Cloud9. I'm gonna stay with Sneaky.
Wait,
you think it's still Sneaky?
I'm gonna go Jensen because I think that they would have been to a similar point, and then Jensen has won more recently than Sneaky has.
True.
So I'm gonna go with
Sneaky avoided multiple losses
because he didn't play as much in summer. But
so he may have had enough cushion already ahead of.
I'm still going
with Jensen.
My vote's on Core JJ, because if they count previous games, he was on Dignitas, right? He got destroyed, and since joining Team Liquid, he's only won.
True, but he started at base. He started at base. He
started at
you need someone who started high and was on the winning team, and so I think the only person who could take it from Sneaky is quite obviously someone on TL, because they've had a better record than
Jensen or double lift?
Double lift potentially.
Yeah.
Double lift is a possibility.
I'm sticking with my vote.
I'm gonna go double lift.
Thank you for paying attention, Kobe. It permits me to believe your kind will survive. Sneaky remains the highest ELO player.
Fair enough.
151.
It was the bait and switch.
Answers in the question.
Yeah, the answers in the question. Just restate the question in answer form.
That does it for this iteration of Jot Stats. I believe this was another wild success and am encouraged by my ability to entertain humans even for a short amount of time.
You say it
may
enough
continue
time.
talking about things far less important. Goodbye.
Say it enough times doesn't
Goodbye.
make it true. Doesn't make it true.
Thank you for that.
I like that. I got one right.
Yeah.
You
That
guys
one
don't
was
understand.
worse than the first time around.
I'm mad because I got James to get one wrong by taking the Xiao Zhao answer away from him.
That's so rude, man. That's so rude. I was there. I got to trust my gut more often. Let's pull up the analyst predictions for today's games, see what you guys are looking at. Ooh, first two games look interesting to me. Mark Z with the Golden Guardians call over
I actually don't think
Rush.
they're going to win, but I have decided to always bet against Rush. Just so the one time he loses on Sunday, I can be there with my hand up. I called it.
Then don't say that you don't believe they can win right before the game is played.
Gotta
That takes
believe.
away.
I'm couching it. I'm
Fair
absolutely
enough.
couching
There's a
it.
fallacy for this. When you invest too much time into something and then you're committed to
Sunk
it.
cost fallacy.
Yeah,
Game
this
two,
is what's happening right now.
the most
Absolutely.
split game here across the board. We got 2 votes for Clutch and 2 votes for Optic. Let's talk this one out for a quick second.
I think that's probably the closest match of the day.
Right, they're both 3-6, right?
Right, and they both are coming off wins yesterday. But I think for me, Optic having a little bit more control in the mid to late game this time around. It sounds like Big was having a larger voice. We still know that they're good in early game, so I think that they have figured out some of their late game problems, and I don't think that they're going to lose the early game quite like they lost yesterday.
They are subbing in Dardoch though, right? And I felt like
True.
Meteos was doing quite well.
Dardoch was good too, though, before.
It's been a while.
It's been a
It
while.
has been a bit
But he's
since we've
played in
seen him.
LCS before, so he knows.
Yeah,
But his record in the beginning of the split speaks for himself. Sorry to cut you off.
Right, no, that's fine. I believe in Clutch personally. I'm feeling their power. I think the Monte is going to pop off today. I'm voting for him. Just anything to vote away from Mark. Not that I knew what Mark was voting for, but when I don't have his guess, I feel good about my
You
guess.
feel much better about yourself.
Yeah.
I hear that. I hear that. Yesterday, Clutch was one of the games that had very interesting drafts pop up. How do you feel Optic can maybe stack up against a Clutch that's willing to draft so many flex picks to secure good lane matchups?
I feel like Crown is pretty well equipped in the mid lane. He's shown a lot of versatility and he's ready to step out there. But I think that's a good point. The backs up high and my predictions here.
Look,
as far as what they're gonna do.
They played weird stuff in other lanes before.
Anything that buries Mark and bolsters.
You're gonna bring up the York? People always just bring up
the York. Biggs played stuff.
All right, well, if you find yourself in the clump in last place, the halfway point of the split can seem very dire, but also could be a moment for rebirth. So Coach Kobe is going to share a few words to fire up their spirits. Head out there, Coach Kobe.
Come with me. Everybody group up. Get in the huddle here. All right. I know you're feeling down. It is halfway through the split, and you're in hell. You can stay down there in the standings, or you can climb out, because great moments are built on great opportunities. League is a game of inches. It's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. It's really simple. You've got 9 more games in the regular split. That's it. They think they know your laning. They think they know your draft, your flaws. But they don't know your heart. And if you can take your heart and leave it all out on the rift, you might get a win. And if you get a win, after that, you get 1 more win. Now you've got 2 wins. Well, if you get 1 more win, then you've got a win streak. And it's been done before. If you can start a win streak, then you can prove that even though your heart's stuck, you're somebody. Yeah! Yeah! Let's go! All right! Wax on, wax off, feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Let's get in the game! Let's go!
Wow. I feel energized. Ezreal, how do you feel after that monumental speech?
Feel like we gotta queue up. Let's get out there.
I've lost every game I've done with a rider so far this split.
Yeah, I don't want to queue with you.
Yeah.
I was just talking we could individually.
You said let's queue up.
Yeah,
that
but see,
implies...
at the same time, but maybe different games.
I mean, maybe the same game. We
I've
beat
watched
each
your
other.
stream.
Yeah, my elo's not near
Yeah.
yours right now. It's okay. We actually couldn't even do. I'm pretty sure you're in diamond, I'm in gold. So that's unlucky. And I'm going to get flamed for being in gold right now. Either way, we are into the game very soon. Golden Guardians and Echo Fox getting ready to go for this one. And it is two teams in pretty much the same spot in the standings. Of course, Echo Fox are sitting 4 and 5, just one game above GGS. But certainly, I think these are teams very close together. And neither one can win, absolutely.
Yeah, certainly the case. Echo Fox, as you talked about in the check-in earlier, have won every game on Sunday, so far this season. Rush, anytime he loses the first game on Saturday, he has always won the second game in his pro career. So it's a pretty insane stat. And
yeah,
I am excited to see how this one does go, because as much as that is kind of out there where he's just never losing on Sunday, coming into this matchup, I still would have thought the Golden Guardians has a very good chance.
And I agree. I feel like they have actually settled into things. It's something you talked about where their only lost, not counting yesterday, was to Liquid in the last 4 or 5 matches. So like they were on the way back up. We're seeing smiles, right? Froggen's happy. We know his champion pool is a little bit particular to him, but it works out well when he plays things he's comfortable on. And I do think that I still feel like Golden Guardians can easily be a playoff team, and Echo Fox is one of those teams that could take that playoff spot from. And now that we are in a champion select, we can see there's no Yasuo allowed on the Golden Guardians side. And Echo Fox got to figure out what they want to actually play for themselves. And Apollo, one of those players who actually had done well on mages in the previous splits, is going to be a Flex Cassiopeia denied away. And Haku, no, on the Thresh. They will be banning that one away themselves.
Yeah, a lot of targeting the Golden Guardians bottom lane. If you want to consider Yasuo a bottom lane pick, as Deftly did play it yesterday, and then 2 support bans. Pretty atypical stuff in the first round of bans here coming out from Echo Fox, and Golden Guardians, we'll see what they want to go with. Certainly the Yasuo did not work out for them at all yesterday. Deftly was really struggling on that, and Olleh getting a lot of criticism for his play there on the Ornn as well, but they were playing a very weak bottom lane 2v2. And I think they're going to want to try to go back to something and maybe a bit more standard after that game, try to build back up that confidence.
Sure. Something I always find interesting is any team who leaves Urgot up and then doesn't even pick it right away. You can see the Ezreal first pick for Echo Fox. With Lucian off the table, Urgot is easily and by far the most highly prized champion in pro play this patch. And both Echo Fox and GGS are willing to give that one up for now and simply rush back and forth for bot lane picks, as we have Kalista Alistar with incredibly powerful engage. And honestly, I can easily see Deftly and Olleh having a very strong laning phase. Ezreal tends to give up a lot of pressure, and you can actually do a lot of damage here with this duo.
Yeah, it's also a very strong roaming duo. People who can actually help to take that pressure from bottom lane if Ezreal is getting pushed in, go over to the dragon, help to secure that. We know Kalista is very good at securing objectives, and excited to see how they actually perform on it. A lot of kill threat in these Kalista lanes also, if you can get an early combo and start stacking up those spears.
Sure. Of course, it can be hard to kill off Ezreal, Braum, but you should still have lane pressure, and as you mentioned, a roaming duo it absolutely can be. Kalista more recently better at soloing in the lane when her support roams away. I do find it interesting that Golden Guardians has continued to wait, though, and have matched roles, because you were always going to get Kalista when you wanted it. They chose to mirror right away, looking like they want to counterpick somewhere else. And now with Jarvan grab for Echo Fox, we saw Darshan play that top earlier. We know it can also obviously be a jungler for Rush as well. So that remains flexible on the Echo Fox side.
Yeah, and for Golden Guardians, I think it makes sense when you are red side. You're hoping you can often counterpick both solos, with your first pick in the last round, as well as, the pick right here. So they are going to grab the Urgot, but as you said, we don't actually know if that is a top or jungle pick for solo or rush, because Echo Fox went for the flex, and that is why flex picks are so ridiculously popular these days. It's much harder for the opponents to actually get the proper lane matchups because they don't yet know where it's going. And Jarvan certainly has been picking up popularity a lot in some of the other regions as a top laner. It's being played, certainly it seems like, more in recent weeks in the top lane than in jungle, but I think it really can work in both.
Definitely agree. Now a mid lane ban going through as Orianna and Zoe are both off the table. Urgot being dropped out as he is continuing to rise in popularity. Certainly a strong top laner.
Yeah, so expecting the Jarvan to be jungle then, based at least on the bans for Golden Guardians. They don't want to deal with any potential Yorick. A couple targeted picks taken away here from Froggen, but certainly there is the Anivia still available. He still does have a lot of other picks that he has really enjoyed in solo queue, but not necessarily brought on stage yet, like the Vigar, like the Lux. So we would be excited to see him bringing out more of these unique picks.
Yep. I want him to lock it in too, audience. Rammus would be great, but All right. Lee Sin is going to be a sort of blind pick here because, again, we don't know for sure where the Jarvan's going. Doesn't surprise me to see Corki in the mid lane for Fenix. That seems like one of his standbys, and now we get to figure out exactly where that Jarvan is going. He's going into the jungle, Sion top to match Urgot. We've seen this matchup before. It's going to be exciting. Just kidding, it's not.
Yeah, well, we'll see what Froggen wants to grab here. Might be getting an interesting pick. I think the Corki is not only a good blind pick, but it's also something that Froggen, last time he was in the LCS, was playing a lot. So a bit of a takeaway there from Fenix. It is a good source of magic damage here for the Xbox lineup. So I think they have a very strong scaling teamfighting comp when you're looking over at their side. A lot of front line with Sion, Jarvan, and Braum, and then double marksman, one bringing the magic damage, one bringing the physical damage here. They should be feeling pretty good about that. And likewise, with the Viktor locked in, it really is two kind of team fighting comps that we have going up against each other.
Yeah.
A lot of engage here from the Golden Guardians bottom lane, as well as obviously the playmaking potential there out of the Lee Sin. And I think that we could see them trying to pressure down around that bottom lane where they should have the early advantage.
I feel like in my mind I slightly favor Echo Foxy, or I like Sion scaling a lot. I like Jarvan scaling for sure more than Lee Sin's, and he's with double marksman. That flag gives a ton of attack speed, and you've got, Corki and Ezreal are a little bit caster focused, but they certainly still auto attack a lot. They're going to get a lot of extra autos off there because of the attack speed. This could be a really powerful synergy, so I really like what Echo Fox is bringing out here. Record-wise, they are slightly favored over Golden Guardians. Comp-wise, I like them as well. This could continue that run of Rush and his team continuing to win on Sunday after a loss on Saturday. And the Golden Guardians can, of course, break that streak here, and it would be pretty impressive to do so as they are on their last 5 matches, and they have to make at least 1 to get into playoffs.
We'll see if they're going to be able to do it. Certainly a rough start for the Golden Guardians, but they have been getting stronger. They have been feeling like they're actually finding their legs in this LCS season and starting to live a little bit more up to expectations as people saw them as a playoff team.
Definitely can be still, as we have a few more games to play. And hey, if you're watching at home, make sure you're logged into watch.lolesports.com so you can earn yourself some fancy in-game content while watching the teams clash today. They're in the Summoner's Fountain. You can reload the webpage. It's okay. You've got time. Get up in there. Get some free blue essence. You know it's worthwhile. And look at that, even a lower third. Watch.lolesports.com in case I'm not making enough sense. Earn yourself some in-game content just for tuning in. Froggen. 2019 LCS Spring Split Week 5. 30 seconds till minion spawn.
What else you got?
Not much, my brain's small.
All right, well, we got some line of scrimmage here coming out from the two teams. And I do think the Golden Guardians should have at least a pushing lane top, pushing lane bot. And I think that mid lane is more of kind of a coin flip there. It could go either way depending on who's going to be able to get the advantage in the early trades. But either way, that should give Contractz the early edge in the jungle. When you have lane priority in multiple lanes, you should be able to be more aggressive. You should be able to have more opportunities to try to attack your opponent in the jungle.
I think there is a chance that Phoenix's Corki actually does get lane priority long-term over Froggen's Viktor because he's running teleport. You can go super ham the first 3 or 4 waves and just burn your entire health and mana pool to try to get Froggen on the back foot and then simply TP back in. Plus with Fleet Footwork, I feel like it's super easy to sustain through, so I would not be surprised by the time we hit level 6 that Fenix actually has built the push lead there. First few levels we'll have to wait to see, but
yeah, we definitely will have to see. I think it can go one of a couple ways. I certainly could see Fenix winning out on trades, but at the same time, if Froggen can get an early Hex core upgrade, that E gives you so much wave clear, and maybe you just don't actually fight Fenix on that Corki. But either way, we are going to have a Rush starting down on that bottom side. He was leashed. Contractz is going to be starting top side. We'll see if he goes into vertical jungling. But Rush is here on the bottom side, so Golden Guardians has to be a little bit careful.
Yeah.
Both are going to be doing the scuttle, and then it definitely seems like they could be looking to just try to take away their opponent's blues, but that's more dangerous for Rush because Golden Guardians potentially has a pushing bottom lane.
That's true if they can get back onto him when he goes for this, but right now it feels like it's actually Echo Fox who've gotten the early priority in. You're seeing 10 CS to 3. That's the minions being shoved in, so it's actually not easy for Olleh to leave and go try to stop the blue. If you couldn't solo him by, at all, and Deftly has to CS. So
Yeah.
Early pressure for Fox is working out. They, spent the resources to push in. That's doing okay. So these can be equally traded camps so far. These junglers will, though it's slightly faster on one side, will eventually get the same camps as each other.
Yeah, and the question always becomes when you're doing these vertical jungling type scenarios, how many camps will you actually go for? You can see so far that Contractz has not actually started up the Wolves. And Rush has. Contractz is looking for a gank mid. We'll see if he can make it work.
And there's no heal, so burst damage could be enough. Lands the Q, goes in, good damage. And that might be enough to force the Phoenix TP early on, and it's without Froggen losing priority here.
Yeah, and it's actually with the wave in a pretty awkward spot here for him as well. So the wave can be frozen against him, and he'd have a lot denied. That's why Contractz is sticking around, because they know he's going to TP back in. But Rush is here, too. This will be a 2v2.
Ward hops in, going to land some damage. The knockup not going to quite land as he flashes away. Going in for the chase! And Phoenix will drop for first blood. Contractz heals with Triumph. Rush needs one more spell. Summoner heal. Needs one more. Lands the Q. Gets the trade kill. Double buffs transferred back over. But first blood pushes Phoenix out of mid lane.
It's the trade kill, but this is so much better for the Golden Guardians because Phoenix used his TP to get back to lane there. The lane is frozen against him. First blood went to his lane opponent. Really good exchange there for the Golden Guardians, and we should be able to see Froggen having a pretty significant advantage off of that. And this was just really smart stuff. So they already forced him out, and based on the lane position, he had to actually TP back. And that was really nice from Contractz. He flashes over Rush to hit confirm the Q. Rush tried to reaction flash to block the Q for Phoenix, but was not able to do it in time. So Contractz helps to get that damage down and does pick it up. Will be the advantage in the jungle for Rush, but certainly the solo advantage should be Froggen's.
And temporarily, Rush has yet to recall, so he's actually worse on items despite his gold lead in this jungle matchup. Not going to matter a ton. It's not PvP stats kind of regardless, and either way, they're going to go back to farming. But there's the double longsword. There's the lead as he finally gets that push through, and now Rush can maybe try to find his repeat gank. Keep in mind that it's now summonerless on both mid lanes. Corki actually has natural escapes. Viktor does not. If Rush aims the EQ well, he will for sure confirm CC and a Froggen, and that Viktor can be killed, especially if he is pushing. Something he has to watch for. A ward. I don't believe that saw Rush, nor did Rush to the ward go down, but now he sees Contractz. This is going to be potential 2-on-1. Keep in mind that Corki is not in the lane right now. Now it's going to land. Now it's the top lane is going to come down as well, and Contractz can run back towards the Viktor. There's, again, no Corki yet in range, so Contractz is able to run away, but now it's Solo, who's trying to push back Hauntzer in a 1 versus 2 himself. Lands a slow, but no gank coming through. But now Contractz is being chased down, and he just walks right into him and claims a kill off that first gank.
Yeah, Phoenix just ran straight over to Scuttle there and actually just takes out Contractz. Froggen was busy trying to push up, and the Golden Guardian solo laners were not able to actually get over there and help out Contractz, and he gets taken down for a very easy kill. Had he actually been a bit more safe there, look at the CS lead already in mid lane, right?
Yeah.
That would have been a significant disadvantage, but Phoenix going to be getting himself back into it a little bit more with that kill. We are going to see Froggen trying to make good on his advantage, going down to the bottom lane, looking to punish.
Flash, nice arcane shift by Apollo. Flash gets him out of that one entirely. With Aftershock and cooldown, they might not want to dive onto Hakuho either, so it gets a little bit of damage down. Really nice mechanics out of Apollo. Arcane shifted out of the Pulverize, flashed away from the Viktor, and a little bit of mid lane CS gets to bleed back towards Phoenix here.
Yep, it was still a pretty decent roam if you're going to be able to get the flash there out of Apollo. They will get the teleport out here also, and Deftly and Olleh should be able to get a decent reset. But here is the play one more time. The interrupt on the Wardhoff there, so Contractz decides to just try to run back the other way towards his mid laner, knowing that he could get the assistance there. Then as Rush is going up towards the top side, I think Phoenix just wasn't actually tracked. They didn't realize that he could be here. Contractz was thinking, okay, great. We pushed out one guy. Froggen's going to be able to come up. I can grab this Scuttle. But instead, it is an easy kill going the way of Phoenix.
And so as Phoenix tries to grab this wave, it'll be 42-52. Everything willing. He's going to have to get away from this one. There's a jump over the wall. Could still be stunned. Ult comes by as well. Can Olleh get into range? Headbutt, pulverize, plenty of damage. And Phoenix will drop one more time. The Reaver Reborn 14 seconds later. Apollo, though, and Hakuho into the mid lane. Olleh does not have spells. 2 more autos, and it'll be a stun and assured kill afterwards. Hakuho trying to get in range. Has to land the Q, but Contractz is nearby. Couple more shots come in, and they will not save him. They're going to give that 300 gold over to Apollo, and another kill is traded back. These teams only 600 gold apart.
Yeah, good roam still overall. I think you're willing to make that trade as you are putting that Corki down even more, but it was a great response from Hakuho, TPing in, being able to answer that, getting the kill over onto his Ezreal especially is going to feel good there. And Froggen had no mana, so they couldn't actually really fight back in that circumstances. It's a good setup. You can see that they're playing this very patiently. Olleh does not waste his combo early on. The gravity field is really well placed. You know this Corki doesn't have flash. So when that hits the stun, Olleh is always going to be able to follow up. They do get the kill, but Apollo has made the roam. And the TP coming in from Hakuho, flash, Q, Olleh gets tagged, Froggen is out of mana, and it's an easy chase down for the trade kill.
Yeah, really good stuff there. It felt like Fenix also, I think, wasted a lot of time in casting Valkyrie the first time around. He kind of let Olleh get closer than he needed to, and maybe he would have lived if you cast that spell a bit earlier. Either way, though, it's the state we're in now, and Golden Guardians go for a deep ward, are spotted and get back out. Blue is transferred to the Corki, and we have a bit of gold on both mid laners. Still, of course, the lead to Froggen. That wave through is happening pretty nicely. He's got that E augment, and yeah, it's an 800 gold lead. He's feeling really solid. He got through that, like, waiting to get the first 2 augments on Viktor, and now he's just online.
Yeah, I mean, he got to get an upgrade at his first base thanks to that first blood, so certainly things are looking good for him. We do see multiple members from both sides converging on this Dragon Pit, but Rush is not here yet. They should just finish this.
They can rush it, but they don't know. Okay, he gets this fight. Now he's going to try to get back out. Good safeguard, and Rush flashes over the wall. He wants to keep fighting if they can. Good damage, though, and Hakuho will drop it now. Will there be a re-engage? Almost stunned as one. Knockup's going to land, but pulled right back out by Deftly. Olleh baited it out. Nicely played, Golden Guardians. Get a lot.
Yeah, very well played there. Olleh just kind of tanking up as much damage as he can, knowing that they have the Kalista ultimate to bail him out. So they do get a kill. They do get the Infernal, and Golden Guardians, despite being down in gold, it feels like the plays have been working very well for them, and it feels like they are being pretty proactive, but certainly it's a very close game.
Hex Flash. They can get Apollo here. How good's the reflexes? Arcane Shift gets away from one, and I believe Pulverize might have been used there, so he couldn't have gone for the chase down anyway, but again, required an outplay by Apollo to even survive there.
And Apollo has been equal to the task so far in that regard, getting away from a couple of those potential engagements down in the bot lane dive, now again here. As Olleh does make good use of the Hex Flash, and up in the top lane, things very, very quiet, but you can see Hauntzer working away on that call, and here it is one more time. Golden Guardians starting this up. The ultimate does miss from Hakuho, which unfortunately for them means once the dragon was taken down, he doesn't really have a lot of options on how to get out of here. They are just going to focus him down, and then Olleh, you can see kind of just stepping a bit forward. He tanks some of that damage as he can, and then definitely pulls him out with the ultimate to safety.
Yeah, of course, if your ult's not landing, Hakuho, he's not all that durable. It's not an Aftershock Braum in the first place anyway, and it's easy to run him down when you land the combo from Olleh. So after a very, very weak laning phase from Olleh, one that arguably single-handedly lost them the game when they played against Clutch yesterday, he's actually having a much better road here. He's made some good roams, some good ganks have happened, and it's Golden Guardians actually sitting on a very small but existent gold lead here.
Yeah, and it's just going to be who can do more with the gold that they've been given, right? Rush is very clearly quite a bit ahead of Contractz. You can see the farm advantage there. He also has the kill. Rush is at a very strong pace. He was almost a full level ahead, as Contractz has caught up in somewhat. But Froggen on the other hand is much better off right now than Fenix. So it's going to be who can actually do more with the gold they've been given, and I tend to favor solo laners in that regard. I think that simply with the XP nerfs coming out to jungle, it's harder to actually stay as relevant as a jungler compared to the solo laners. But so far, that's not been a big deal just yet.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of good follow-up divers for Rush. Yes, the Jarvan's got Warrior. Yes, he can keep going forwards, but it's not like it's Jarvan plus Nocturne and the Viktor gets deleted because you both showed up. It's, okay, Corki can try with package, Ezreal can try with the ultimate to reach backline, but this feels much less consistent, right? You're heavily cooldown gated to even try this in the first place, so I agree. It doesn't feel like it's the team comp state where the Fed Jarvan gets to do Fed Jarvan things.
Yeah, and I don't even know if he's going to continue building damage, right? He starts with Warrior, most players will, but I've been seeing a lot of things such as Night Vow as a second item, because as you really smartly pointed out, the attack speed aura on that E is so powerful, and you have that for 2 marksmen. Then in addition, you grab a Knight's Vow, you start grabbing some of these aura items, and you're just adding so many additional stats to your team. You're not really expecting to get that one shot, but the Electrocute plus the Warrior gives you some nice initial burst, and then you are adding all those additional stats to the rest of your team.
So we'll see how he plays it out right now. He's rushed the stopwatch. It's always useful for a diver, and it is Cloth Armor and a Ruby Crystal, which are components of that Knight's Vow. So you never know where it goes. Lee Sin's Link in the shadows, but it's 3 on the other side as well, as Rush is waiting in that river.
Ooh, Rush does leave. If they actually spot him on that ward, okay, they may decide to go here.
Contractz can feel confident. Will they throw in Olleh? Will he find the opening? They got to slow into Apollo, but he's already arcade shifted away. There was no gank to be had there.
Yep, not going to be able to make it happen just yet. But again, on the top side, pretty much just farming even. Hauntzer should have pressure, and he does, especially once that Black Cleaver is completed. It gets pretty frustrating for the tank to deal with, and he's working towards that Cull cash out. But Solo is going to have a really good time in the team fighting. You know, Sion is just so damn consistent. He's always able to soak up so much damage, create so much space, and especially when you do have double marksman behind you, supported by that Jarvan flag, it should be looking good.
Now looking to play into the mid lane. It's going to be Fenix jumping away from this one. Now it's guessing wrong and which way Froggen was going. Rush does not get the knockup. Gets pushed out. Now Contractz is here, and a TP from Hauntzer's has landed already, forcing the flash out from Fenix as well. It's a decent trade. Some farm will be lost, but that gank is called off.
Yeah, honestly not bad though for Echo Fox, despite the fact that they missed the flags. They get heal out of Froggen, they get TP out of Hauntzer, and it does cost Fenix his flash, so I'd say fairly equal trade overall. It was a nice attempt, as if that knockup hits, you might just kill him.
Yeah. One downside, though, for Golden Guardians is they lose that entire top lane wave that Solo did shove in, and TP advantage now with this Cloud Drake spawning this second. Maybe there's a chance that Echo Fox makes the macro play and gets the advantage there.
And that's why you see Hauntzer just staying down. He's actually just sacrificing those waves. He's not going to go back up the top lane because he knows he doesn't have the teleport to respond. So he has to be at the dragon on spawn. Golden Guardians will start this up, and this is a smart play. We'll see if Echo Fox is going to be able to get there fast enough, but Corki is recalling, so they're not going to fight.
Echo Fox are super late on the play. They're not even pushing in mid or top lane to knock down a turret while the whole team congeals down. So Hauntzer is sticking bot lane. Costs him nothing, getting chased now, though, flashing away from the knockup. But flash for a Drake, I will take 100% of the time. They lose no farm. They just get the neutral objective.
Yeah, well done. And they're not actually punished at all for not having the teleport there. They do get teleport out of Fenix, and you can see Solo and Hauntzer just going to be kind of duking it out as they head back up towards top lane.
Oh, they're trying for the big play. Keep in mind, he's flashless with the flash knockup. They've got all the damage they need. They will knock down Hauntzer. That was beautiful stuff. Rush playing that perfectly, making it happen.
Really nicely done. So they are able to punish the flash being down as you call out. The stopwatch was great from Rush, immuning the ultimate coming in through Hauntzer.
Kicks away Rush. Doesn't get the steal, though.
Yeah, that was pretty risky there, going in like that.
I liked it.
It does get out with his life, cost him his ultimate, doesn't get the red buff, but not too much.
I think he was cracking cooldowns. I think he knew there's no knockups or flashes available, so he's like, I can queue in, I can kick away, and I can ward hop out. Either way, this is, though, very good for Solo. He knows flashless, he can commit the ult, and there's no way out. He's checkmated.
Rush goes in, the EQ flash, really nicely done, hitting that knockup from so far away. Then the stopwatch, just to guarantee he's going to be able to avoid any impending Urgot ultimate before he did go down. Really well played from them, and off the back of that last couple plays, you can see that has turned into a bit of a CS advantage for Solo, where he had been the one getting pressured, had been the one on the back foot, and now has a kill, and he's up 15 CS, which is nothing to scoff at.
Not at all. So the lanes get moved around. We have Urgot now on the bottom side of the map. That's not being matched just yet. It's still Sion walking top side, so some interesting mismatched 1v1s and 2v1s down here as the farm keeps going through. Contractz gonna hope that maybe the vision got dropped as Solo gets headed back to the top side. And in fact, now it's a dive towards the bottom lane as Hauntzer is gonna be at a 1 versus 3. Solo suddenly here. It's gonna be Braum taking aggro and simply holding onto the shots. There's a chain of knockups. Easy kill picked up, 3v1 under the turret. And at best, it'll be Golden Guardians training for a turret kill themselves.
Yeah, that was really well done there from Echo Fox. The turret juggling was so well done. There was no chance that Hauntzer was ever going to get a return kill. Hakuho hits him with the ult, stands on the very outer edge of that ring, and they still had Solo at full health, ready to tank more than enough shots, and his stopwatch available if anything got dicey. So very well executed dive. And I am starting to wonder if they're going to be able to actually get this Kalista involved, because, you know, if you get too late into the game, it does get very hard for the Kalista to actually get access to some of these other members, as he's going to have the Braum in his face and Solo in his face. And, you know, it's easier for the Corki and the Ezreal, I certainly think, to be able to actually consistently get out damage in comparison to that Kalista. We'll have to see, though, if some of the playmaking can actually throw a wrench in the gear, because there is the potential of Lee Sin kicking one of those marksmen there is the potential of the Alistar catching them out, but Now, Kalista has not been able to really get much done in this game, and I think EchoFox has done a good job of playing around it and kind of avoiding really any fights where Kalista could be able to shine. Like,
Sure.
not getting any great ultimates for engage or anything.
That's nice, actually. Contractz simply more forces package out. I do think we will eventually tend towards the more team fight phases. You know, I feel like when you look at Golden Guardians, it's a team fight comp, at least a little bit. You've got a Kalista and a Viktor in there, and
Opposite?
with I feel like kind of a team fight comp. And I mean, you've got 3 tanks on each side. You've got 3 frontliners, so like that's perfect Hurricane odds. And I mean, you're right, they're not team fighting. And EchoFox are playing more spread out, and that's very good. And if they can do that at 30 minutes, that will bypass a lot of Kalista strengths and play into Ezreal Corki strengths. But if they do play these big Baron setups, I think it actually lines up pretty well for GGS. And that can look good when Hurricane's done.
And I want to see them force that, right? And that's what they're trying to do here, force the hand a little bit, bring the other team into these kind of team fight scenarios where you do drop the Rift Herald and you're trying to force them to group. And it is, on the other side for EchoFox, though, double TP advantage, right? They have 3 TPs compared to the 1, so they don't necessarily have to actually ever commit to that 5v5 style. They can play side lanes, they can look to avoid this Kalista and try to eventually outscale, because most people do consider Kalista to be, you know, a 2-3 item style champion,
Really
where that is your
fighter.
strongest point. And then when Corki is sitting at, you know, 5-6 items, you're going to be pretty terrified if you have a Kalista on your team.
Corki can definitely be terrifying. Absolutely agree on that one. And it's kind of nice that your carries are so long range on EchoFox side, because they can sort of sit out of Viktor threat. That's one of the scary things of Viktor, is if he lands both halves of Q and the R, you're chunked out and you're done fighting. But Corki and Ezreal good at playing outside that range. So yeah, lots of things to watch for, really. Because as you mentioned, there is good hard engage, there is good scaling on all sides, and I think it will come down to playing the triple TP. I think is a really big deal here, and seeing how EchoFox play the map out will certainly be compelling. As it stands, they're up 2,500 gold, setting up for this now Mountain Drake spawn. Hakuho in vision, mid laner seen as well. Going to be another quick round of wave clear.
And it really does feel like the 2 teams have pretty different objectives, right? When you're looking at Triple TP and a team, I think EchoFox wants to have a slower, more measured team fight compared to Golden Guardians with the, you know, the Alistar combo and the Lee Sin kick and, you know, a Lich Bane Viktor that's going to be coming in. They're looking to kind of one combo someone, but the engage is coming in now.
They don't get to commit for the turret. Instead, it's going to be low health bars on the front line as the Golden Guardians, and Olleh's going to jump right back out, but here comes the dunk onto his Deftly. Flash away staying alive, and that's going to be the Guardian Angel down. Now for round 2 of the fight, 5v4 rush gets found out and flawed to the ground. That's a word. Either way, it's still Golden Guardians, 5v4 on the map, pushing down the wave. They've got some minions here, but they're not pushing Solo off the farm of it, and they will not take the outer turret.
Yeah, Solo goes for the engage there, but it kind of just gave Golden Guardians the fight that they were looking for, as Alistar is easily pulled to safety by the Kalista, able to absorb that engage. So well played by Olleh and Deftly, and then Froggen just one combos rush here. So this is Olleh, you know, stepping into it. He knows he has the ultimate available. He knows Kalista can save him here, so he's going to combo. He's going to be pulled out. A nice little sidestep there. And just look at Rush. He just gets absolutely shredded. That is almost all Froggen there, dropping the ultimate. He has the Sheen already. 2 sides of that E, and then even coming out of the GA, Rush drops very, very quickly.
Yeah. And that is part of the benefit of Kalista here, and especially with Alistar, is they can absorb a ludicrous amount of damage and do almost anything they want positioning-wise. And Olleh, I mean, literally a team fight, should walk into Sion, tank the ult, and at worst, trade ult for ult. At best, you get the team fight you want, and this can definitely stymie EchoFox's engage plans.
Yeah, and if you're not really in a bad position after you absorb the initial ult, you can use the same Kalista ult to re-engage.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, there is a lot of power there in that combo, and it's certainly one of the things that had Kalista in the meta for so damn long was the safety that it gave the support. It wasn't just about the engage. You're able to position and play in ways that wouldn't otherwise be safe. You know, I always kind of saw Kalista as the Thresh for supports, right? You know, it's like he's the guy who's playing the opposite side of it. It's not the support throwing the lantern and saving you. It's Kalista ulting you and saving you support.
Yeah, she's sort of the blue lantern in this case. That's kind of the color scheme for Thresh anyway. I guess he's more green. Lines up. Either way, gonna be a Q landing. Take it. Come on, Contractz. Take unnecessary risks. That's how you play League of Legends. Rush still wanted to fight for some of this control, but unless he finds Scuttle, ooh, Q does not quite get it, but nice try. It's going to be Golden Guardian's vision in that river. Fenix pushed back as well, and GGS kind of just trading the mid lane so far. We look quickly at the bot lane. It's not highly damage focused, but it is Hauntzer getting the push first, and has enough wards to feel kind of safe. You can see he's not really having to be worrying about where the ganks come in, as once again we look back in the mid lane wave clear, and this time around it's Echo Fox first.
Yeah, but both teams pretty patient playing this out. No one feeling like there has to be anything too crazy.
That's good damage. Definitely forced the flash. That's slow. That single slow from Hakuho. Set up all of that. Now this turret's going to be chunked on a half HP, maybe more. Contractz simply going for the Q, then ward hopping out. Lag goes down for some attack speed. That turret's down to 10%. Just off that little chunk towards Deftly, kind of removed the wave clear.
Yeah, and without Froggen there, their wave clear is honestly pretty bad. Froggen can shred those waves very, very easily, but they had Froggen in a side lane pushing up, and he did not have TP to join them. But now it is Golden Guardians grouped up. They're going to be the ones to push in and take out this middle turret.
And because of that wave being pushed, the whole thing crashed on top lane tier 2, and all that farm that Froggen got was not answered. So that CS lead is just going to be permanent now, and extra farm can go towards Golden Guardians. They finally answer the mid turret. This game is now only 500 gold apart, and Golden Guardians have all the combat Drake. So in a stand-up fight, it still feels like it favors them. Hurricane Power Spike, of course, done here for the Kalista. We're at a solid 20-30 CDR based on runes here for this Viktor. I feel like this is looking fairly solid for the Golden Guardian scaling. I feel like this is kind of the port you want to be at, as Apollo still stacking a second tier.
Yeah, and with Lich Bane completed, you really have to be careful as either of the marksman players about getting one comboed, because Viktor, certainly with the QE ult, if you're getting that auto off with the Lich Bane proc, can easily one round a marksman.
Oh my
no MR,
gosh!
and look at
Look at Rush's health bar! He's got no magic resist, no health either.
That's what I'm talking about. You cannot get close to a fed Viktor who has a Lich Bane. He will one-shot you.
Oh, now in the front line, another fight, but it's 3 versus 2. How does Hakuho get out? Hakuho does not, but now it's a dive in for Fenix. Gets one, tries to trade with Contractz.
Oh, he might get 2.
Can he time the ult? Can he time the Q? Yes, the double kill for Fenix underneath the turret, turning it around.
What a play from Fenix there. That looked like it was going to be so Golden Guardians favored, but Fenix just dives in. We'll see if he can dodge the ult. Oh. That would nip him right in the butt, just barely getting out. Whew. Oh my God. Fenix has honestly been on fire for Echo Fox lately. His Zoe games have been incredible. Diving forward, getting a couple kills there for the team in what looked like a bad situation. We'll see if they can now contest this dragon, because Fenix does have TP. He can get back out on the map, and here he comes.
Oh, Rush's knock at the knockup. Pulled back in. He's going to die again. Opting into that fight, and now it's once again an isolated player solo. Just threw his name. Got an off but knockup. Froggen though has to watch out. He is out of mana, and to know that feeling, he's been stunned. Apollo goes in. They might just find that kill. It's going to be traded back though, as they have knocked down Fenix at the side, and he's going to take 40 seconds to rebirth here.
Yeah, Froggen getting knocked down. I mean, he's built very little mana at all. He didn't go for anything like a Ludens. He didn't go for anything like a Roa. So, he does run out of mana. It is a very kind of one-shot focus style build. But he does show off that power, as one auto onto Apollo with that Lich Bane was about 60-70% of his health. They are going to grab themselves another Infernal, so this super fed Viktor just gets that much scarier.
Huge AP stacks. This is Froggen when he had a mana pool, and it was ugly for Rush here.
Yeah, and this was honestly kind of strange that Rush reacted so slowly here. He's just sitting on the ping.
Yeah.
Like he had, I know that wasn't a huge amount of time,
it got put
but
down, yeah, and he's just like, that's Viktor. Shoot.
Yeah, so he did react pretty slowly, and then again, here's Rush a second time getting pulled back into the gravity field and just gets popped again, and then watch this auto onto Apollo. How much damage he's going to be able to get. That is just the Lich Bane auto. 45-50% of his health is gone. Almost took him down with the red buff, but he does run out of the mana. They are able to train him down. 1K shutdown going over onto the Sion, who quietly has gotten very, very tanky, working towards that third item, Warmogs. And he's going to be tough to deal with in these team fights.
He is going to be tough. It's going to require long durations and definitely being able to do this. Blade of the Rune will cut through stone plate, and then by the time it pops off, he's got those Ren stacks. And he's going to be the one, I feel like, doing the heavy lifting as long as the fight goes long enough. I think it's possible to outscale to a certain degree on these tanks. You can get ahead in gold. And maybe he will try. Haunt's going to spot solo there, going to try to deny some of that farm, but can't even break the shield.
Well, I think especially having that really huge tank doesn't do much if you don't have damage behind it, but you have a 3-item Ezreal. You have the Corki who already has his IE and Triforce completed, as well as the Circuit. So these guys are going to put out a lot of damage if you can create the space for them to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that they're in a pretty good scenario right now to be able to kind of create that situation. but Double Infernal certainly worrying, and the fact that Froggen can one combo either of those DPS sources, which I think almost certainly ensures a teamfight loss, is very scary.
Well, No Magic Mantle comes in for Rush, so 25 magic resist to add to the pile. Helps him a little bit here, and maybe he survives the combo as Banshees comes through, and Froggen's going to be very hard to kill, though.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Apollo is going to make a pit stop for a Hex Drinker or anything like that here, or if he's just going to go straight for a Rune King or a Gunblade to try to continue maximizing his damage. Because while you certainly can stay safe and try to outrange this guy on the Ezreal, if he ever hits you with that flash combo and you just die, it may cost you the game.
Well, the Golden Guardian's looking at the setup now around this objective. Rend only does half damage to epic monsters, but it's still pretty good. You can always kick the Jarvan out of the pit. And we'll see if Hakuho picks up a Spellbook Smite to try to make this happen or not. But either way, it's Echo Fox pushing. This turret is low. A single auto attack is going to be enough to chunk it, and down goes the outer.
Yep, again, Froggen going up to that side lane, and Echo Fox used that time to try to get some more damage down. Froggen now, he's flanking.
And look at the damage on the Rush. Guardian Angel is up, kiting away, though. He's running out of health. That will be GA down, and the health bar's still pretty good for Golden Guardians. Round 2 on the Rush. Does he have the way out? Can't even finish the ultimate. 5v4. Will it be a re-engage? Olleh's been pulled back in. No, goes back to safety instead. But look at the zoning tools. There's no smite on the map for Echo Fox. The Baron's being started on how do you win a 4v5?
Yeah, this is just so smart from Golden Guardians. They know there's no jungler available, so they're forcing Echo Fox to come to them. We'll see if there's any miracle steal.
It has to be the miracle. It's going to be picked up by Ren. So now Baron is on and Solo has been stunned. The health bar down to half already. A slow onto Apollo. The chase is in. They're going to get their second kill. Golden Guardians getting more and more out of this game at 3,000 gold with Baron on them.
Solo not even going to try to get any damage in there. Does go down. The Baron goes to Golden Guardians. And Froggen is just hard carrying this game.
Yeah.
He has been looking so good. Was gifted an advantage by some early pressure from Contractz and has paid it back tenfold here. As you can see, this is after Froggen has already killed off the jungler. They do try to go in and steal. It is the smite into Rend. A nice combo there from Golden Guardians. No chance of Echo Fox really being able to steal this. And then they just simply run down Solo, taking him out. 2 kills, the Baron, everything going their way.
Looking very good for Golden Guardians. And Echo Fox, and specifically Rush, a player who has never had a 0-2 weekend, is looking down the barrel of that right now.
0 damage team fight.
Yeah, well, when you get picked off at the start, that kind of is what happens here. So is this going to be the blessing broken? I wouldn't call it a curse. It's a positive affirmation for Rush and co, but this time around, they can't rally around that anymore. This is a very sizable deficit. They've got to do something to break themselves back into this game. The Golden Guardians have the tools they need to wrest this game open. A Bloodthirster for Deftly means he'll be incredibly hard to kill. And the Baron's still on for 2 minutes.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Echo Fox can find that one team fight, as they still do have really good scaling. They're going to have opportunities, but they're pushing mid. This makes no sense. There's a Lichbane Viktor sieging your base. There's no way you're going to be able to actually push fast enough. They're trying to answer with a dragon here.
Yeah, this
but
feels like
you're going to probably lose an inhibitor.
I guess they're making the bet they'll lose the inhib anyway, and they're saying we can take a Drake and just farm the inhib. This is definitely, at the best, risky. I can see the logic maybe, but it's certainly a lot of the base lost over. And they're going to spend the next minute and a half licking their wounds, but they do give the inhib for a mountain or for an Infernal Drake.
But I mean, there's still a minute 30 on the Baron. You're going to have to deal with now a Baron push. You gave up a free inhib. You allowed the wave to get pushed in bottom side for Hauntzer as well. I think that was just a terrible call from Echo Fox. I feel like they have such good scaling. You could just try to sit back and turtle and clear the waves and hold on, but we'll see if they can do that now, because if you give up a second inhibitor on this push, you really may be sealing your fate.
This is the moment of truth, essentially, was this worse? If we're giving them the benefit of the doubt, they chose to trade Infernal for top inhibitor. If this pays out and they do hold the rest of their base, there is a world where it makes sense. I agree it is, again, at best risky. They gave away part of their base. Bots being pushed in right now. This Baron power play is poised to be about 5,000 gold. This is substantial. Golden Guardians are smashing right now. They're up 6K. So Echo Fox, can they wave for the next minute?
We'll find out, as Solo's going to get pulled in. They are getting a lot of chunk onto him.
Now it's going to be disengaged for a little bit. Ult's going to tag only Contractz, healing back up a bit.
And Solo has Warmog, so it's not a big deal. This is now the wave that really matters, this next one coming in, because this is going to be the last Baron wave, and there's supers entering the base now. So this is really Golden Guardians' moment to try to punch them. You want to see them go aggressive and really siege onto these turrets, and that's what they're going to try to do here.
All right, last Baron wave, and you can see mid-turret down to about 1/3, and the cannon minions are not dead. It's getting more and more damage, and the inhib will be open, which means the inhibitor is theirs as a formality as well. Even with Baron timing out, it might be Golden Guardians waiting and spending their money. That looks like that's going to be the play. But with how hurt this base is, you know it's going to be cracked some more.
Yeah, and a successful push certainly for Golden Guardians, knocking down all but one of those inhibitor towers with the Baron. They can go back, spend all their gold. They're going to be at a huge advantage now, and then just group 5 and march it down and try to attack those inhibitors that are wide open. You can see the gold there just falling off a cliff. Was so even until Golden Guardians were able to get that Baron. And you know, we kind of talked about it in the early game. The advantage for Equifox was in Rush's pockets, where he had the extra gold, whereas Golden Guardians had all their gold concentrated on Froggen, and Froggen has been able to do many times more with that gold.
They directly interacted, and Froggen won by a lot. There was a Guardian Angel that got popped by 3 spells, and then he died right afterwards, and he's trying to catch up to the magic durability here, and this is Froggen definitely. Tied for 4th in player of the game standings at 2. You have to assume he'll get it for this one as well. Spoiler alert, probably moving up to 3.
He's sitting on a death cap, double Infernal. He's over 800 AP on the Viktor. That is an easy 1 combo on, I think, everyone but the Sion and maybe the Braum, who has his shield up. I mean, any of the carries certainly are easy to take down. There's still 0 MR on Apollo or Fenix. If these guys ever get tagged, they're going to die.
Half the E lands, and it's half the health bar of Apollo. 1 spell might one-shot him.
Flash Q auto, I think, just kills him from full.
It probably does. Maybe the Braum shield can block some of it, but it's going to be a bit of a struggle now. 6,000 Golden Guardians should be just donated the middle inhibitor. This is not a fight Equifox can win. They can try to land some poke. They're going to try with Sion, and Solo hits the wall. That speedway is not even hard, but that's going to be a flub here onto this one. So now the inhib can keep taking damage. More minions on towards the Nexus turrets as well, but Equifox are trying to spend a bit of effort and get some distance back, and that poke is actually working. They are pushing them off as they wait for Baron in 30 seconds.
Yeah, the range advantage certainly helping them quite a lot. Both Ezreal and Corki poking away, Sion stepping forward, tanking a lot of damage, then using the Warmogs to heal it back up. They are going to have some time now to actually get Solo down to the bottom lane to clear out that wave, and since the Sion ultimate is such a low cooldown, you can see it's going to be coming back up here pretty shortly. So Equifox still, despite some missteps, are kind of hanging on, and Ezreal sitting at 4 items, Corki working towards his 4th here as well.
Yeah.
Kalista's time as the strongest marksman in the game, I think, is certainly passed.
It's going to start getting away from her. You're absolutely right about this one. So Baron number 2, that's the moment of truth, I feel like. If Guardians get it, I think they can close the game out. If Equifox can stall them, or Rush can make the steal happen, something he's not done well at so far this year. Maybe it turns all the way around, and suddenly Equifox catches back up, and they continue their 1-and-1 ways. They certainly need a miracle if we want to win this game.
Yeah, and I mean, there's supers in the base right now, so Corki has gone back to base. He has the package. He's going to be clearing this out, and TP is available, so still dangerous for Golden Guardians, the team fight here against a potential Corki package. Okay. Here comes the TP.
TP 5-on-5. What's the position going to be like? So far, no hard engage yet. Solo holds the front line, and well, Golden Guardians okay to simply wait because there's minions in the base, but the inhib spawns in 10 seconds, so that's not going to be a dead turret. That won't actually matter. Those minions will drop just to the PvE damage, or I should say EvE damage, and it should be just fine. So this will not matter anymore as the inhib respawns. So now it's an equal map state. That's going to be Contractz looking on the backhand side. Can he find the kick on a Rush or on a Fenix? Because not land the Q. Still waiting as Deftly takes some poke, but still puts some hits down on the Baron. Hauntzer is tanky as well. And they're still drawing the battle lines. There's always the inroads towards top lane. Golden Guardians can always take that inhibitor, as long as they move fast enough. But Solo's in the front, and he can threaten Deftly. He can watch out for this one.
Froggen over the wall
around, looking at the package in for Fenix, jumping over the wall, staying safe, gets away from the ult of Urgot as well. So far, still no kills, and Froggen takes some damage. Rush to the backline, finds knockouts, he's got Guardian Angel, but there's no kills just yet. It's Rush waiting to die a second time. He doesn't have a way out. It's Hauntzer who's low, but look around. Towards the backline is Contractz, using the Guardian Angel. Look at the health bar's getting low. Solo's gonna drop. 1 kill already for the Viktor. Make it a second for the team fight, as there's already kills coming through. And Equifox have only 3 members left alive, and Golden Guardians can simply walk into the base, and their winning ways might just be over. Equifox might be going 0-2 right here, as Golden Guardians are going for the win. It's gotta be a miracle now, as 2 must defend against 5.
It seemed like Rush just lost his mind there. Equifox was holding on for so long. Phoenix was chunked out, and he just hard engages in. immediately dies, and this should do it.
And a several years streak is broken. Echo Fox and Rush will go 0-2. Golden Guardians are fighting for playoff position, and they will take the win over Echo Fox.
And what an incredible game from Froggen. 9-1-3 on the Viktor. An absolutely dominating performance here.
Yeah.
As he brings out, another pick that he is showing so much proficiency on, right? He is not playing necessarily what everyone else is, but he's making these picks work. He is showing that he has more and more to bring out, and Golden Guardians are certainly looking like a bit of a force to be reckoned with. They are now 4-2 in their last 6.
Yep.
That is certainly an impressive streak from them after an abysmal start, and they are just getting stronger and stronger.
A 0-4 start, but a lot better since then. You gotta call it that. Golden Guardians up to 4-6 with 8 teams left to play. The Revenge Tour, both Froggen and their coach Anero wanted to get a win over Echo Fox. They couldn't do it back in week 1. They did get it here in week 5, and they've got now the rest of the table to play. Technically, they are right now tied for 6th place with Echo Fox. They are 1-1 in the head-to-head. They might even get a tiebreaker for that spot later on. These feel like teams in similar positions fighting for those kinds of positions. The Golden Guardians, for the first time in their LCS career, are currently in a playoff position.
Yeah. I mean, this is a really good turnaround for them, honestly.
Yeah.
People are expecting big things out of the Golden Guardians after a lot of the roster moves were made in the offseason. It was a poor start for them, but they certainly have been bringing it back. And for Rush, the streak is dead.
It's dead.
He has the 0-2 week, and honestly, it feels like he doesn't have anyone else to blame. He had the ability to maybe carry this game, had a big early advantage, was not really able to do anything with it. Even choosing that final fight himself to engage on, which didn't really pan out. And it did feel like right before that fight, they had gotten themselves to a spot where they stalemated the Baron.
Yep.
Their Corki is closing on his 4th major item. Ezreal has hit his 4th major item. It felt like they didn't need to actually push and force anything.
Yeah. No, I actually agree with that one completely here in this one. And it does feel like the other carries have been the bigger factors for Echo Fox's success. Rush was the one who had the streak attached to him, but of course that streak is over. Now to give us a pro's thoughts on that victory, obviously standing by with the dominant Machine Herald in the mid lane.
Thanks, guys. Froggen, you absolutely carried that game against Echo Fox. And before coming into this game, Anero said that the win would be big for both you and him. Why is that?
I mean, we both used to be an Echo Fox, so it's fun to match up against them again.
Well, tell me about that game, because you completely popped off on that Viktor.
I don't know. I think it was pretty straightforward for us. Like, after the first gank, Corki was in a kind of bad position, and he's usually really greedy in lane, so I know he's going to TP back, so I just told Juan to stay around because he's going to TP, and then he's just going to die. And from then on, it's just going to snowball. So it's just a pretty straightforward game for us.
And mentality is something that can make or break a team. And Golden Guardians picking up the win today, hopefully picking up a little bit of motivation. But coming into this second half of the split, how are you guys going to keep that mentality strong and continue to pick up the wins?
I don't know. It's week to week. I mean, it's kind of difficult. Some weeks are better than other. For the last 1.5 weeks, I've been pretty sick. So the energy has definitely been much lower than we would have wanted in the last 2 weeks. But I don't know, we're just trying to improve all the time, and I don't know, we discuss it, keep working hard all the time. It's not really like anyone is super mental boom. So far it's feeling pretty good.
Well, Froggen, thank you, congratulations, and I hope you get well soon. But that's it for us here. Let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Ovely. Froggen with a massive performance on that Viktor in the mid lane to push Golden Guardians into another victory and to be the first team here to hand Rush a loss on the Sunday after he picks up the loss on a Saturday. So an 0-2 weekend for Echo Fox. That one's going to sting a bit.
Everything I know is a lie, James.
Right.
I finally started believing in the Rush undefeated Sunday.
If you just use your brains, guys, you would have seen that clearly Golden Guardians were going to win this game.
Yeah, Mark knew all along. Knew all along. Let's take a look at the team comps here. We have the double ADC comp coming out for Echo Fox, Corki in the mid lane, Ezreal in the bot lane, a favorite of Apollo's. And then the Kalista Alistar as a response in the bot bot lane for Golden Guardians. Talk to me about this, as Deftly and Olleh have underperformed at times.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to remember back to the Ornn game that Olleh was on yesterday and constantly going in, getting killed a whole bunch. His Alistar, I thought, was really good just in isolation this time around, but I do also really like them adapting, getting the Kalista to also pull him out of other situations. It also means that their bottom lane can start a lot of plays and bring a lot of crowd control, which fits into their identity where they wanted to funnel Froggen, him be the #1 damage dealer, and that definitely worked out.
I think it's much better. It's a lot more stable of a lane, so you can focus more, like you said, on Froggen and Contractz being able to run around the map and influence the lanes.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's take a look then at how the early game played out, because it was entirely mid-focused. Corki with a TP in, quick death to follow. That's going to hurt.
It's one of those things where it felt like, oh, we can kind of bait them because Rush was in the area, but they were just a little bit too far behind their own bait. Contractz able to get in there way before Rush. And at that point, you are trading 1-for-1 back, but you got the Corki's TP out on a TP back. So he ends up falling pretty far behind, but the mid-jungle 2v2s just kept going on.
Yeah, this is what got Contractz really far behind when Rush chased him off afterwards in the river here, and Fenix comes back from spawn and is able to get there in time to get the recovery kill, basically, on the enemy jungler, and that put him right back in it. But then Olleh comes to save the day.
Right, as a mid laner, I feel pretty bad for Fenix myself. I've done that where like, hey, I'm teleporting in mid, they're gonna gank me again, can you be here while I do that? And boom, it happens, he gets killed, and he keeps falling behind. Luckily, he gets a kill given back to him, but he dies over and over, and Corki behind is so weak.
So weak, and the main beneficiary was Froggen, who actually did a great job this game running around trying to secure objectives. They made repeated attempts at the bot lane, but it didn't work out, and they secured a number of Drakes. So they were able to really snowball the key player on their team, this Viktor, who became such a monster. And then it got really scrappy in the mid game. It was not a clear game either way who was going to win.
Boom!
As Mark was saying, they call this what? La Casa de Fiesta?
La Casa de Fiesta, baby.
Yeah,
Welcome
right.
to North America.
Honestly, watching Rush this game, I don't really know what's going on in his head. I gotta say he's tilted,
Oh, yeah.
like a 99% chance he's tilted. Because these are things he was doing 3-4 years ago, right? And he went to Korea, played on a different team, and you would think he would learn from his mistakes of being over-aggressive, but he continuously does it time after time, time after again. At one point or another, you gotta learn, right?
Yeah, the early game, him and Froggen were both set up with advantages on opposite teams, but then Rush did have a lot of these where he goes in really far ahead, gets obliterated, and kind of lost his.
Like, watch this engage. Why would you do this?
Doing? You have double marksmen. Like, they're not going to follow you over that wall.
I mean, your entire team's at half HP running away. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna flash EQ R over the wall. Yeah, he had a lot of people, but no one's nearby. You gotta calm down there, my friend.
Yeah, Contractz going in, gets the GA pop, but it buys Froggen the space to move forward and pick up another kill there. With that man advantage, they can close out the game.
Yeah, one thing that Rush has said in interviews, too, was that they have too many ideas, too many people talking, I think. So maybe that was definitely a situation where there were split decisions.
Of course, yeah, Rush had a few boo-boos throughout the game. We did go ahead and take a look at a POV of Rush here in one of his deaths up in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing, like, just tabbed out, not really paying attention. Froggen, who's super fed at this point, has a lot of ways to potentially be able to kill him. And yeah.
He saw that ward get placed there. I don't know.
All right, he wasn't actually tabbed out.
I was told he was tabbed out, like, shopping.
Hitting tab isn't looking.
He was just looking around.
He wasn't
but
paying.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
looking
all right.
around.
To be fair, he died really fast.
Yeah, that's a little hard to be prepared for. But what I will say is it wasn't like that was a one-time occurrence in this game. The mid lane fight where Sion had a nice ult in initially, he goes in, gets sidestepped by Deftly, loses his GA, then dies, gets picked off there, respawns, bot lane, dies. That last fight, I think I would go so far as to say Rush is the worst jungler in the league right now after the early Karthus games, which were a bit of a disaster. Hasn't had standout performances, and in a game like this where he completely just feeds in a lot of fights, it's hard to keep defending him at this point.
That's a big statement. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I feel sad because I'm a huge Rush fan, and I really remember the days when he was over here previously and was such a inspirational jungler, going for big plays and making them work. But it's hard to argue with Mark, bringing up this topic because a lot of his plays have not worked out, even in times where he did get small early leads, in the beginning of this game. Then they seem to go right away.
Right. I don't necessarily know if I would say he's the worst jungler, but I would say at the very least he's the exact same as he was in the past. And, you know, he was pretty good back then. Now, since there's a lot more better junglers in the league, it's arguable that he's on the lower half. But you get rushed, this is what you get. It's what you expect, and
I
that's
mean,
what he gives
he
you.
hasn't ran through a turret and killed someone with Lee Sin this whole season. I can't remember a single rush play when it felt like he was making those every weekend back in the day. I don't think he's
few and far between this time around. We've talked a lot about the mistakes of Echo Fox in this victory for Golden Guardians, but I do want to return to them for just a moment because the casters talked about some of the expectations that were placed on this roster coming again. Big acquisitions in Hauntzer and Froggen and even the likes of Olleh. And here they did get the victory. We talked a bit about composition and maybe what that, you know, what that suggests in terms of an identity that they should start kind of honing in on. Do you think that returning to, hey, mid lane focus around Froggen, as the majority of Froggen rosters have done in the past, even like back on his time on Echo Fox, is that the way to go for this squad?
That's what's been returning dividends for them. That's what's been getting them the wins. So I think that there are more options as well for varieties, you know, of the same strategy, but it feels like they do know what is going to work for them, and they should stick to this.
Right. I think for Froggen specifically, he's a person that will never throw his lead. So if you give him a lead, he'll hold on to it and keep going with it, right? So I think it's important that they can rely on him to carry. And down the line, it's good to find more carries. But for now, your goal is playoffs. Focus on your hard carry, let him carry you, and see if you can get the playoffs and learn from there.
Nice to have that steadying force in the mid lane. If you missed any content from the week, like the most recent episode of The Dive, where Huni ranked the best 3 top laners in the league, check out the new and improved LoL Esports YouTube channel for all your LCS needs. Huni takes the stage shortly as Clutch Gaming faces Optic, so don't go anywhere.
Hops in, gonna land some damage. The knockup not gonna quite land as he flashes away. Going in for the chase! And Fenix will drop for first blood. Hakuho does not, but now it's a dive in for Fenix. Gets one, tries to trade with Contractz.
Oh, we might get 2.
Can he time the ult? Can he time the Q? Yes, the double kill for Fenix. He doesn't have a way out. It's Hauntzer who's low, but look around towards the back line is Contractz. Using the Guardian Angel. Look at the health bars getting low. Solo's gonna drop. 1 kill already for the Viktor. They get a second for the team fight. Several year streak is broken. Echo Fox and Rush will go 0-2.
Oh no, are you okay, Mike?
Yeah, got a pretty big fender bender here.
Don't worry, State Farm's got you covered.
That's great to hear. Robin, what's going on?
Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, I think so.
We're gonna get you a tow truck, Mike.
Thank you. Real fender bender going on here. Fender bender. Fender bender. Fender bender. Fender bender. Everybody remain calm. No reason to panic.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.